Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Hello, everybody. I want to be close to her, and I'm glad we're close to you all, wherever you may be around the country, around the world. I'm Dr. Willie Jolley, and this is my beautiful bride.
This is Dee.
And we're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. Hope you all got a copy. If you don't, go to jolleymarriage.com. See the free TED Talk, How to Never Ever Argue Again in Marriage. We've been married for 40 years. Haven't had an argument in 38 years, and we tell you how we did it. It's a system. It works. So jolleymarriage.com. We've got a special show for you tonight. For those who have not been around this last few weeks, we made an announcement a couple weeks ago. Hey, Jerome Washington joining in. Very good. We made an announcement a couple weeks ago that we're going to make a shift. We've got so many people who are new, who have been with us for the last maybe year. We've got 7 years of content that many people have never seen. They're in West Virginia. Could give, okay, that's great. The Kazaras for our weekly viewers, and they've been married 50 years. And
they travel the world.
And they buy the book in bulk for their friends and family. They've given more books than I think we've sold. They've given a lot of books. So we got a special show, but we're going to get to it in a moment about long-term relationships and long-term care. And this, what do they say? Love, lifestyle, legacy. Ooh, I like that. Oh, love, lifestyle, legacy. We got special guests. They are experts in marriage first, because they've been married 55 years, but they're also experts in long-term care and how to create real legacy for your family and their generations, even those that yet unborn. This is going to be a tremendous show. You're going to be blessed by this.
So take notes.
Take notes. That's right.
Pen and pencil or pad.
Now, before we go,
or phone.
We want to make sure we say it now. We're going to say it again later. We have made an announcement the last couple of weeks that we're going to make a shift in how we do the show. We're going to have the show because all the people who still have not seen the earlier versions and so much good content that was over the years. We're going to do a live show on Monday, the first Monday of the month. Hopefully at every first Monday. Might be
first Monday live.
Yeah, first Monday live. And then we'll have replays of some of the long-term content that people haven't seen the rest of the month, so that you will be able to get access to that. So it's really exciting about that. We also making sure everybody know we're still open to having those who want to sponsor our program to be in touch with us so we can promote you and your business to our vast audience. Okay, let's get to this show. This is going to be an exciting one. In my new book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, and you're going to get a free chapter at richisgoodwealthyisbetter.com. I talk about the lessons I've learned over the last 20 years of interviewing people on my Sirius XM show, billionaire after billionaire after billionaire, millionaire after millionaire after millionaire. And one of the lessons that I share about wealth building is that all wealth has three legs to a stool. It's a wealth stool, it has three legs. First is income. You got to have income. Then it's investment. And then it's insurance. You got to protect the asset, or what they call asset protection. You got to have it so that if something happened, crisis, sickness, situation, circumstance, it does not have to drain the asset to be able to take care of the crisis. My guest tonight, Joe and Janice Davis. As I said, they've been married for 55 years. They don't look it. We had recently had lunch with them. They look good. Now, but they've been married 55 years, and they've been working together. They are some of the most, they have the greatest expertise in the area of asset protection, long-term care, and insurance. So
explain long-term care. We kind of got into that conversation.
But we'll let them do. Yeah, we'll let them tell what it is. So some people don't understand. Over dinner, right? So Joe and Janice, thank you for being with us tonight. Y'all can tell a little bit more about this marriage of 55 years.
How have you been married for 55 years?
How did that happen?
We all work in the same space. Willie and I used to work in the same. He's loud. We worked in the same space. When I left Capitol Hill, he convinced me to come work with him. I was in his space for like a year, then I couldn't take it.
Yeah, she had to get her own space, and I got my own space, and it's separated by a door. But anyway, tell us about Joe and Janice Davis, please.
Well, go ahead, Janice. You start off.
No, you start.
She told me not to tell everybody how we met, but
Why?
Long story short, we met at a graduation party. I was graduating from high school in 1966, and we met at a Blue Lights in the Basement party. And
I wouldn't go out with them.
well, you skip. No, I asked her to dance because she was by far. We just had this attraction, and of course, Smokey Robinson was playing, and we were dancing to "Ooh, Baby."
Okay, go ahead.
And you really got a hold on me.
Yeah.
So those songs were memorable. I said, after that dance, I said, I have got to have some more of this. So I said, wanted her in my life. But she was a little standoffish. She was a little older than I was because she was already in college. And so I'm a non-graduated high school chasing a college person. So I said, I had my work cut out for me.
But we didn't start dating until my senior year because I had a car and I went to all girls school. He went to all boys school, and he invited my car and me up to his college for a weekend. And I was supposed to be going out with a senior, and he showed up. He was my date. And actually, we hadn't met or talked for 4 years in between.
I actually switched. So she was supposed to come up for somebody else. And I said, well, that's not going to happen. So a good friend of hers came up, and I set her up with the alternate, not me, so I could be with Janice. So that's long story short.
So after
That's
that,
a great story.
Quite romantic.
It was romance. These were the 60s, guys. So I was a bit of he was a military honor student. I was a Vietnam War protester. So we ended up somehow, he came home. My mother loved him. My grandmother loved him. I said, must be okay. But anyway, June 1st, he graduated. June 20th, we were married. We've been married ever since. We did not start working together. I was in the school system, really excited about all the things that I was going to do to change the world. And he was in financial services and insurance, which I didn't really realize had much importance to me until I actually graduated, and kept getting riffed. And what do I do with my life? And we ended up working together at opposites ends of the hall. I do employee benefits, so I do group insurance. And basically, he does individual corporations. He's on the financial services. Right. And I do the other side. Because what I learned was I had worked for 12 years. And when I left, I had a pension of $7,000, which wasn't a whole lot of money. Right. So I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to learn about it. I talked a little bit to Dee about it. And I said, I got fascinated with it. I learned about legacy. I learned about all of those things that actually, as minorities, our parents did the best that we could. Both of us from DC, mom, teacher, principal, his teacher, dad's worked in the post office, best job around. Right. We didn't own shit. Everybody worked for the government. So we were going to be entrepreneurs.
We didn't own something.
Did I say that?
I get it.
Alert the censors.
Alert the censors. But we said, let's try it. And we talked about risk a little bit. I was pretty risk averse, but the biggest risk I could have taken was to marry this very wild entrepreneur who did not want to work for the government, who wanted to start an adventure. who had at that time one sport jacket and a pair of Army shoes, but a job.
Yep.
And we decided to do this because when I realized that this is important, as Willie said, we've got to understand how to make money, how to preserve it, especially for women. I'm a real woman's advocate. So, for us, it's important to know what is important. And right. All the shiny things in the world basically don't mean anything. But right. When we came up for the title today, I kept thinking about one thing in our marriage, because we had, as we say our vows, it was to love, to honor. I skipped obey, in sickness and in health. And if you know my husband is a daredevil, like 3 times motorcycles, climbing buildings, flying planes, etc. So in sickness and in health, and we've had a bit of all of that, but till death do us part. And I never said till death do us part. And he kept saying, why not? And I said, well,
I'm safe. She's not going to kill me. So.
But it was like every day I wake up and I choose. So I choose every day to be with him. And we choose every day to have had children, to nurture them and to try to contribute. That's where we are. I started working with him. Maybe he's been in the business almost, I guess, 55 years. Because that was his first job.
No, my first job was I sold Life magazine by telephone.
So
that was a tough job. I took some of the guys in the office did well, and when you sold a new subscription, you rang a bell. So the guys were ringing bells. They were calling West Virginia and all those places. I said, this isn't for me. So I found out that I could take the life insurance exam, and of course they lied and said I got the maximum score, which I probably did. But I started with a company called Manufacturer's Life, which is now Manulife. The rest is history. Yeah, she's nudging me to not be so long-winded.
Yeah, one of the things when we started talking about that, I don't know, you can figure out how old we are. And the last few weeks, I was talking to Willie. We've just been going to funerals or going to the hospitals and visiting people. And one of the benefits that I sold in group benefits was group long-term care. And I remember my daughter saying, because we talked about it and I was explaining it to her, she says, Mom, do you have one of those policies? And I wondered why. And we're not going to call it long-term care. I guess for the purposes tonight, we're going to call it extended care. Because when you think of long-term care, people think about nursing homes. They think about all of the things, the old paradigms. What does it mean to have long-term care? In a group setting, it's a very easy policy to get. It's usually guaranteed issue. And many of us, because in this area, got it through the government. But what happened was, when she asked me that, it was like, okay. Why did she ask me that? Well, basically, who's going to take care of you if something happens to you? This is the thing. Let's put the risk on somewhere else. Let's pay pennies on the dollar, because you're more likely to get disabled. And as we grow older, as our children grow, move away from us, this is an important asset to have. And the government has stopped. They no longer offer group long-term care.
Wow.
Many of the people who,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, when we were talking before, and you were explaining how long-term care has changed and it's become care become a rider. When we got long-term care, there was no long-term care as a rider. And I'm just saying, there's so much in terms of how the market has changed, because the insurance companies are in it to make a dollar.
Exactly.
In the beginning had figured out, these people are living a long time. I got to go back and adjust this thing.
Exactly.
So in our case, we pay quarterly. But yes, you did ask me that question about whether or not costs have risen. Yes, they have. And because I'm older than Willie, my policy, my premium is about twice as much as his. but I dare not have it. You look at the advantages, and I've said to Willie, okay, so we've got 6 years worth. You get sick, you need that. And ours is like $15,500 a month,
Right.
benefits.
Yeah.
And we can borrow. Y'all understand? So I'm like, okay, you better be dead. After 6 years, you gotta hit the dust.
Yeah, but you know, I think.
Let me explain why the insurance is not available now. When the insurance hit the market, the insurance companies made assumptions about the risk that they were taking on. So they assumed that people would be on the long-term care policy shorter than they actually were. They also assumed people would lapse a certain number of policies, which once they got them, they didn't. And then they assumed that the cost of care was X, and it was X plus a whole lot more. So they had to go back to the insurance regulators and say, hey, we can't sustain this. We got to get a premium increase. And everybody who had been paying by payroll deduction get these massive increases. And then they get these offers. The insurance company say, well, you can stop your benefits here and take what you paid for, or we can extend them without the inflation protection, all of that stuff to lower their risk and to, mess with the policyholders. And so what you got now is a different breed. When you put a rider on a life insurance policy, a permanent life insurance policy like whole life, the premiums are guaranteed. They can't increase them. And they put a rider on the insurance policy to cover long-term care, and the care, extended care, is based on the face amount of the policy. So if you have a $500,000 policy, you get disabled, you'll have $500,000 in the pot. Okay, and that's the simple thing.
Right. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I said, why is long-term care a gift of love? Because
that's great. I love that.
Good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, I've been a caretaker for my whole family. I was in this. I fit the profile. Okay. Usually, it's a female. Usually, it's the oldest child. Yep. And unfortunately, you want to take care of your mom. You want to take care of your dad. And so they all figured that I was the capable one. I knew what I was doing. So it fell to me. So what happens? The sibling rivalry. Who's going to take mom this weekend? What we have, your children, my children are part of the sandwich generation. Right. They've got their mom and dad, and they've got their kids who are still in school. They're still working. Who's going to do this? So it's a gift of love. They don't have to fight. You want to take care of them, as they said, in sickness and in health. We want you to stay at home.
We got to mention one thing here. Janice is an only child.
Yeah.
So she's the one. There's nobody to lay the risk off onto, and she had multiple caregiving opportunities. Her grandmother had 6 children, and she took care of all of them in one way or the other. And her mother, who was dear to my heart for the last 2 years of her life, I went to Georgetown and went up and put her to bed. And when we did that, I pretended she was at the opera or something, and it was and she really appreciated it. And I loved doing it because she accepted me into the family and let me, blessed Janice and I getting married and kept us together during some tough times.
Well, what's so interesting about that, when I say it's a gift of love, because you don't want to be, quote, a burden to your children. I mean, you want to be healthy. We're living longer. As you all know, my daughter was overseas. My son is in Florida. They're not here. They're going to have to I'm going to either have to go there, or they're going to have to uproot all of their family.
Dee, you know why your premium is so much higher? Because women live longer than men. And the insurance company knows that you're going to be a claim, because if you get to be 90, and I have a client now is 103.
Wow.
And it goes on. And if so, that's why that happens. That's just a little kernel out of insurance.
So we want to make sure people understand who are joining us that Joe and Janice Davis, let me say again, have been married 55 years.
Yeah.
They've had ups and downs. They've had sickness, health. They've had challenges. You take them in sickness and health and good and bad, for rich or for poor, all the above. They've done it, but they have stayed together. That's first. Second, that they are experts in insurance.
This is their business.
This is what they do for a living, and have built a very successful business helping people with their legacy, particularly with long-term care.
Now, what does that mean when you say, a lot of people are throwing the term around legacy?
Yeah, legacy.
What does that mean?
So
actually?
let me say, in my book, I talk about legacy as being generational wealth. Now, but we want to make sure it doesn't just go one generation. The goal is 5 generations.
Wow.
The goal is at least 5
but
generations.
the research says it starts to drop off by
with
third
research,
generation.
because people don't really know how to do it. That's why they need Joe
and,
and
lack
Janice.
of education.
Yeah, they need Joe and Janice. They need professionals to help them to create a legacy that stands the test of time. And that's why I wanted them to be our guests, because over our dinner, it was intriguing. The brilliance that they were sharing. Before we go any further, people, y'all should know you can reach them at livingcapital.com. Capital with a T-A-L. CAPITAL.com. Livingcapital, like money.com. And you can learn more about them. Okay, Joe and Janice, you kind of said it's a gift of love.
I
like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, because a lot of people who are watching, they know that one of the things we've found with married couples that put strain and stress on a couple is caregiving.
Exactly.
And then when you got caregiving and there's no money on it to take care of the people didn't prepare, didn't plan, and they get sick, or they got to go on.
They do the reverse mortgage. We have dealt with so
many.
Trying to hold their hand, trying to help them through, even down to parent in the hospital. Mama has died. Sister dies at the mama's funeral. This is
oh my.
Now the uncle dies. This is all within the year. Now the father is in the hospital. Does he have an estate plan? Does he have a will? So he said, Mama D, could you explain to him? You want me to explain to him why he even needs to lay out a plan?
Right.
And one more thing I want to say about that. With the legacy is that often we talk about generational wealth, but what happens typically is grandmama will work hard, get a house. She'll get an insurance policy. She has some cash. She dies, the cash evaporates. The insurance policy is just enough to pay for her funeral. And then the house is all that's left. That's the asset. But one of the children has...
I want my part.
I want my part. Give me my part. And they have to sell the asset to give that child their part. Then the asset's gone and it's starting back at zero.
Right. There goes your legacy.
There's your legacy. Gone.
Now, see, we work with attorneys because attorneys are very helpful in drafting documents, wills, powers of attorney, healthcare powers of attorney, and trusts.
Yes.
So when you want to preserve something, like you said, the goal for 5 generations, if you put real estate or other assets in trust and then fund the trust with life insurance, because if the donor of the trust has enough life insurance and one of the kids says, I want my part, you can peel off cash from the insurance policy and get them out of the picture and preserve the house and the trust assets. And this takes planning. Because,
say that again, Joker. That's very profound.
Yeah, because what you do with a life insurance policy is you have pennies on the dollar. You are buying a dollar for pennies apiece because you can pay for them over a period of time. Now, when's the best time to buy life insurance? When you're young and healthy. And when people, like you said, 10 years ago. But the problem is, when you're young and healthy, you plan on a family, trying to get a house, trying to pay bills, and you want to travel and have some fun too. But you have to see ahead and say, well, look, how much does it cost to set something up like this? And that's when you set it up. And what people are seeing on TV now are these term insurance ads. You know, Bob can buy $1 million of insurance for $50 a month. And in 10 years, Bob didn't die. The insurance company keeps the money, and Bob's family has to go buy, well, Bob has to go buy another $1 million policy. Well, he's 10 years older. Health may have changed. Big problems with that. So we advocate that you look for a permanent life insurance policy, either a whole life policy or an indexed universal life policy. We don't have to get into the nuances, but the premiums are guaranteed and the cash value in the policy builds up over time so that you can use the cash value before you die in the case of a care situation.
So one of the
That's how you preserve the
problems
legacy.
with long-term care was back in the day was, what if I don't need it? What if I don't use it? The same objection that we used to get on disability. These hybrid new policies, one thing we know, even if you don't get ill and need long-term care, we're all going to die. Right. So one of the things is that you're going to get your money back, or your family will get the money, because it's a hybrid. There also, if there's some nuances, businesses buy it. There's some tax credits. There's some wonderful issues because the government can't pay for us. In other words, people used to, my girlfriend called me up and she's going, oh, my sister had a stroke and I want to see if she can get on Medicaid. There's something called the look back because people don't understand the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. Because before they try to put the house in your kid's name, 5-year look back, probably not going to work. And they're not going to be able to go on Medicaid. And the big thing I tell them is lifestyle. Even if, as a single person, if something happens to me, you know, how much do you usually need to live? In DC, the average cost is probably anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 a month.
Wow. We got a question. We got a question from Senior Terrence. He said, with life insurance, do you get any tax breaks? And is there any way to itemize with a life insurance policy?
Well, it's a complicated question. Let me take it this way. Life insurance is an asset that you own. And when you put premium into the policy and it builds cash value, the cash value builds on a tax-deferred basis. So you do not pay any income tax as the cash builds up. And when death occurs, the death benefit to the beneficiary is tax-free. Now, the only way you can access money from your life insurance policy if you borrow it. Loan isn't taxable income, but you can get in trouble if you overborrow. And if the policy lapses because you haven't paid the premium and you take too much money out, then everything that's a forgiven loan becomes taxable income. So it is a time bomb if it's not handled properly. But
that's why they need somebody like you. Okay, let's see. We got Angela Hewlett says, at what age should you get long-term care insurance?
You get it at an age where you are able to pay for it and do the other things that you want to do, because if it's a priority for you, because if you realize it has a direct impact, if you don't have long-term care, it has a direct impact on your family's finances while you're still alive and on the inheritance that the kids are expecting to get if you pass away. And it's the only insurance, and I have to be careful to explain this, it's the only insurance that you can pay for and you don't have a claim. In other words, you don't need long-term care. You can get your money back in the cash value or in the death benefit. Right. So if have you ever heard of a hybrid policy? Because have you ever heard of an insurance policy like a fire insurance policy? Your home doesn't burn, you get any money back? No, not at all. This doesn't exist. But this is the only in a hybrid policy where you are building cash value, and some of the cash value is going to be used to pay for care if you need it. But the care pot is the face amount of the policy, not the cash value. This is very important. $1 million policy has $1 million pot. It might have only $200,000 of cash.
I think one of the they basically say around 40. The other thing is you take a look at your family history. You know, what is this? Just is basically, it doesn't mean that you're going to have Alzheimer's. It doesn't mean that you're going to have dementia or you're going to have a stroke. But if you have a family history of it, then basically take a look at that. Because that's what actuaries do. They ask you that question. What age did your father die? What did he die of?
Right.
But take a look at your own family history, look at your health.
If you have too many of those answers, then you can't get the policy.
Right.
Now, there is a way when the policy is sponsored through a company where you can have guaranteed issue. They don't even ask you health questions and you pay by payroll deduction. But the secret is it's still a permanent policy. You can take it with you when you go. Okay.
Wow.
So you could pay for it through we're a small business.
Mhm.
Could we do that?
Well, you have to have a minimum number of employees to get guaranteed issue.
But
And
not
that-
to purchase the policy.
But not to purchase the
No,
policy. If
you
you're
can't.
healthy enough, you're good to go.
Well, the good thing is a family-owned business, most of them say 5 or more. I mean, I was talking to the two of you all. I said, a lot of businesses in America are 2 people. They're family businesses, husband and wife, and or family-owned businesses. So it's a boon to a family-owned business. And there are some tax benefits when you do that kind of planning.
Yeah, part of the premium is deductible to the business.
Yes.
And see, that's a big deal because you can do this on a voluntary basis. A company can set it up for employees and the employees can contribute and the company doesn't have to pay anything if they don't want to.
Yeah, it's a
But
health policy.
They can do it for their executives and they can pick and choose who they're going to cover and who's got to pay for it on their own. So it's very flexible.
One of the things
I
I
have
was
more to learn. So
Yeah.
yes.
about caregiving. I always look at the example of my own family, and it says, providing care to chronically ill people makes healthy caregivers chronically ill. And, we were just, it sounds like an acronym, but it's true. I can remember my aunt taking the tray up to my uncle in the evening and whatever. And because we love them, because we care for them, especially in the case of women, basically we become ill because we don't take care of ourselves.
Right. We hear that often. The caregivers become ill because they didn't.
Right.
And so we got so many people who are responding. You never enjoy only your family gets it once you. But
Is that the question?
when I think of life insurance, I just think it's something that you will never enjoy. Only your family gets it once you die. Maybe I'm delusional. Here's what I will say on that, Senior Terrence, is
It
that
depends. That's
if you love your family, you don't want to leave them with a bill. You want to leave them with a will, and you want to make sure you take care of them so
not
that
just
they
will and trust.
yeah, a will and trust, but that you're taking care of them, that you show your love so that they're not having to do a GoFundMe to bury you, one, and they don't have to have a GoFundMe to pay their rent next month. It's set up because I really love my family, that I'm going to take care of them. Like we developed a trust. We did it on Christmas Eve 2020, and we set up a trust, and our goal is 100 years. That 100 years from now, some child will be able to go to college because of what we set up. Now you hear, what do you need? What do you need life insurance to do that? You need to have life insurance so you won't attack your savings. That's where the money is attacked. Where you've got this nest egg, you've been working hard, scrimping, saving, sacrificing to build a nest egg. And if you don't have life insurance, you got to attack the nest egg for that need, that crisis. It's going to happen.
So with the long term, with the whole life or the different derivatives of that, you could borrow on your life insurance, right? If it's whole, not term.
No, term has no cash value. It's only, and by the way, the insurance company will sell 100 policies. They'll pay a claim on one, and they'll keep 99 premiums for themselves over a 10-year period. That's the statistic.
Let me say, with the individuals who ask for my input or advice, I'm like, this is complicated. And you have to be careful who you listen to. And you need to do your research and get information from several different sources before you make a decision, and to identify what's your story, what is your particular situation, and then work out how to protect you and your family so you don't become a burden. Now, for some people, they don't care. Like the last person I was talking to, trying to talk his dad down off the ladder, who couldn't figure out why the daughter's name needed to be on the checking account, so that when he's in the hospital and he couldn't figure out why her name needed to be on his checking account so she could handle the affairs. I'm saying to myself, there's a mental problem here.
Well, look, I think this is, when you die, or what Janice said earlier, one thing I say in funerals, nobody get out of life alive, okay? Nobody. And so we know that death is inevitable.
Yes.
And so since it is, what can I do to take care of my family so that they are well positioned? And what can I do to teach them to take care of what we leave them so it gets beyond the first generation, second generation, third generation?
So you cannot wait until you're sick on oxygen to have the conversation.
You'll be turned down for that coverage.
Where your things are.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's handling the health? Who's handling the health director?
Right.
It's like too late then.
Well, wealthy people. Now that's hold up.
Exactly.
That's what wealthy people do. A lot of people say, well, I don't understand why I should do this or not do this. Let's look at what wealthy people in the book. And I want everybody to go get the book. Go get free chapters. Rich is good, wealthyisbetter.com. Get free chapters. And if you follow me on social media, you'll see that Pastor Jamal Bryant did a big endorsement of the book, said this is what everybody needs. But in the book, it talks about the lessons I've learned from the wealthy, those who are wealthy, and what they do. One of the things they all talk about is protect that asset. Protect that asset. Whatever you do, protect the asset. Your life insurance protects the asset.
See, maybe they don't have any assets.
But if they don't have an asset, then don't make no difference. Okay, that's why we try.
How does feel?
Your grandfather said, "Bury on pop."
My granddaddy had like a $10,000 life insurance policy.
Exactly right.
He said, "I'm cashing it in because I want to enjoy it." And so my mama and the kids were, what? He said, "Don't worry about it. Just leave me on top of the ground, let me stink."
Well, the kids went on and got the life insurance because they knew that they had to have some money when it was all over.
Because everybody had to chip in.
Okay, so here's what you're supposed to have. One generation ceiling is supposed to be the next generation's floor. That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
And we unfortunately have grown, have come from cultures where we don't have much time left. We have come from cultures where that hasn't been explained. I want everybody to get the book. One, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, or at least go to the website, get the free chapters. I want everybody to go to livingcapital.com. Living Capital, CACAP. No, they don't have to spell living. We got to spell it out. Living Capital, capital with a CAPITAL. Capital is money. It has an A in it. It's livingcapital.com. Check them out. Get some research. Get on their schedule. Have a meeting with them. Jerome Washington says, thank you very much. So Senior Terrence says, financial intelligence must be taught. That's right. These folks are teaching you. My book is teaching you. Let's create wealth. And Jim and Janice, closing thoughts, closing ideas as to one, how you stay married for 55 years, and two, why they need to have a long-term care plan, please.
Well, I think part of it we came up with the name because we realized within every individual, there is a human life value. I guess for us, basically, living capital is us.
Right.
So what do we need to do? We need to protect ourselves. We need to protect our family. We need to protect those that we love. And within each one of us is the potential to have both capital as well as legacy and hopefully love along with it. So, Joe, you want to add something?
Yeah, I have a secret to staying married this long. Don't get divorced.
Amen. That's right. That's
The other secret is the two words most important in a relationship for the man. Yes, dear.
Amen. You got it, Joe. Gladys Pemberton said, excellent program tonight. Much needed. Desiree Matthews said, wow, this is excellent information. People are tuning in all over the world. So look, Terrence, you crazy. He said, I have $1 million life insurance policy. That make me a millionaire. No. We both answer that. I want to thank Jim and Janice Davis. Joe and Janice Davis. I had a mind flood.
That's
Joe
all right.
and Janice Davis.
You're going a mile
You
away.
know, I've known you for so long. Joe and Janice Davis, for their taking time. Call Joe and Janice. Go to their website. Go to the website. Go to the website. Because people all over the globe going to watch this. Joe and Janice Davis. You can go to livingcapital.com. Follow them, get the information, set up a meeting with them. They'll give you wise counsel. They've been doing this Joe been doing this for 50 years. Janice has been doing it a long time too. They work together. They live together. They've raised a family together. They got grandchildren together, and they are just pillars of our community in the Washington area. We're grateful. Thank y'all, Joe and Janice, for being part of it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity.
This is great program. So many great comments are coming in all over the place.
Well, God bless you both.
Thank y'all so much. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We want to thank you for going to jollymarriage.com. Get see the TED Talk. We want everybody to go see the TED Talk. It's free. And then go to richisgood.wealthyisbetter.com. Get some of the free chapters from the new book. And then follow us. And let me say the announcement one more time. This is going to be a new program that we're setting up.
First Monday
live. And we'll probably have a guest each first Monday. Then the next 3 weeks will be some of the great shows we've had that many people have never seen. They were just so good. So we decided to play some of those during the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of the month. So stay tuned. Stay connected to us. We'll see you soon. Thank y'all, and tell everybody about all that we do to try and help marriages stay together, prosper, be in good health, and stay in good health, even if their souls prosper. Amen. This is Dr. Willie Jolley.
This is Dee.
We'll see y'all next week.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.